So I wanted to make sure that the next 1 hour goes smoothly. So I was just trying
Okay.
to take.
Yeah, Varsha, can you put the Facebook Live and we can just start in the moment the Facebook Live is on?
Yes, yes, I'm doing just it's working.
Yeah, the
Working, yeah.
moment it's on, you tell me. Shazia ji, your Dubai visit was great. Am I right?
Yes, it was wonderful. I met wonderful people, all friends of India, and all lots of people like you,
That
patriots,
is
and they
what
were
will happen in Thailand. You know, people are asking you to come there. There are people,
definitely.
I
I
would
would
just
love
like,
to.
till she gets the Facebook Live on. There are
Yes,
Dr. Rani is the chairperson of the Women Club of Thailand. She is already
yes.
the very well known doctor in Thailand. And I got
Okay.
here, Deepak is our executive director, India Thai Chamber of Commerce. He is there.
I see.
So I got here already. Akansha is she joined from Chicago. She is one of our women.
Nice.
We got Dimple Oberoi. She is again Women Power member. So we got Dr. Jaya Lakshmi. She's again part of the Women Power. We got Dr. Aranji.
Wow.
We got Honey. Honey is from Cape Town, South Africa. Honey is
Wow. Yes, yes. I've been to Cape
commendable
Town.
job she has done commendable job in South Africa, and she is
Wow.
chapter in charge for South Africa on women power.
Excellent.
Narula is well-known name in Thai Sikh in Thailand, and he is already there. Yon has joined from she is in Lisbon these days. She is from US.
Oh, wonderful. Yes.
Yes, and we got
Wow.
people. Jennifer has joined from Malaysia. Jennifer is the Women Power chapter in charge in Malaysia. Jyotsna Potedar, well-known name, Potedar name in the country.
Yes.
She is part of the, global talent. She is there. Kamini is from Philippines. Karan Singh
Wow.
is the president of Indian Overseas Association of BJP Thailand. He is already there.
Oh, wonderful.
We have a
Wonderful.
lot of people here.
Swagat hai aap.
Yeah. Meenu Tuteja is again one of well-known women power. She does a lot of work. Milani is from Spain. She is our women power chapter in charge for Spain. She is already there. And then we got, I'm seeing Mr. R.D. Kamishna, well-known name in Aditya Birla, well-known person in Thailand. He is already there. Rajan Datta, president of Reliance HR, he is already there. Raja Lakshmi from Shiva Sivani, professor, she is already there. Rakesh Sharma, well-known name of Gillette yesteryears, he is already there. So there are a lot of people. Ratan Agarwal, Hero Motors HR head. Sandra is from Fiji, and you know what's her time? Her time is late night. She must be at 12 midnight in Fiji. She is the one.
Thank you.
There are so many people who have Unichi Zada Farooq from Afghanistan. Okay. And Vani Modli from Durban, she is already there. Mr. Tyagarajan, Secretary of Faridabad Management Association. And there are so many people. I'm sorry I'm not able to take names of everybody. First of all, good morning in US, because there are people from US, Chicago, New York already there. We have someone coming from Canada as well. Good afternoon in Durban, in Cape Town, and in Spain, good afternoon. London lady, we have already there. And good evening in Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Afghanistan, India. First of all, namaste, salam alaikum, sawadikap, highway, sawadikap. You will have to come to Thailand to be with us.
Of course, soon. I'll be there soon.
Fantastic. It's a very great day.
It's a wonderful day. And you know why it's a good day? Because we have somebody like you. Somebody with your energy, your warmth, which is infectious. It's so beautiful. Your energy is so beautiful. And you have got all of us together, and we're like a little garland, all bound together by the same thread in this global village. And it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I feel that, I feel that. So,
Shazia ji, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to introduce you someone whom I really admire for her deliberation, discussion, and making her point. Her name is Shazia Ilmi. She is from a very small town called Kanpur, India, in the northern, part of the country. And her father, very well-known name, Maulana
Ishaq Ilmi.
Yeah,
That's right.
Maulana Sahab, well-known name in the journalism. He is the founder of Siyasat Jadid. Siyasat, I know, is politics. Jadid, I don't know what. What is Jadid?
It's new politics, new.
New politics. Well-known name, and the newspaper of Kanpur. I have known about this newspaper when I was a student, because I myself also write Urdu. I belong to Kashmir. I am a Kashmiri Pandit,
Oh, I see. Wonderful.
I am part of the global Kashmiri Pandit
Wow.
also. Now, this Shazia from a small town, from Kanpur, moving to studies to Nainital, to Shimla, finally to Jamia Millia. I have worked a lot of work with Jamia Millia in terms of cricket as well. I have been supporting cricket when I was in India, along with Mr. S.Y. Siddiqui, the Maruti HR director. Then she moved to University of Wales, UK. And from there, she moved to New York Film Academy. Now see the journey of this small town girl.
Yeah.
We can say small town girl, but such
absolutely
fact that from Kanpur to Nainital to Shimla to UK to USA, and finally becoming a TV anchor, that too of a well-known star news. I remember personally, Desh Videsh, the prime time, Desh Videsh. And those days, today there's huge competition. Those days they were very limited ones. And the Desh Videsh was one of the prime time best programs of that time. I really salute and respect Shazia ji for what she brought to the world through Desh Videsh. In fact, she has been part of the International Association of Women in Radio and Television. I will say I call her women of substance, women of elegance, women of communication. And you know what people talk about her? Sherni is Sherni. Now, since we have an audience, she is the lioness of India. I don't want to talk about a journey in between getting into, of course, when there was a revolution with Anna Hazari, she was part of that. And you know, my mentor, my guru, Dr. Kiran Bedi, who is part of my organization, supports me. She has been part of that. I know entire story. And after that, I am not talking about a small time where she went. I am keeping that away because that gives me some pain, and it will be painful for her as well.
Me too. So yes, it's very painful for me to recall. Let's not go there.
But then finally she landed into Bharatiya Janata Party, where she is today, one of the firebrand leaders of Bharatiya Janata Party, Delhi. And she is a spokesman, and you can see her live with Arnab Goswami, with Aaj Tak, with many TV channels on very important subjects of interest. And recently, we are talking about women empowerment, and what's happening in our own country is little
Imagine.
Of the states.
Shameful.
Which is something which is very sad, very bad. And today only on Twitter, somebody put her again, lioness of India, roaring like Bharat Mata Ki Jai, Bharat Mata Ki Jai, in a foreign country. We'll talk about that. And then I was retweeting, I could see people retweeting. Lioness of India. So the lioness of India, I hold my hands to you, Shazia ji. I am really honored that you decided to be part of us. This is a global movement of women. It is known as #WomenPower, a global movement. Our mission is to have 100,000 women to be part of this event around the world, irrespective of caste, creed, nationality, religion, and color. So you will see people from Afghanistan, Spain, Nigeria, Durban, Cape Town, Cambodia, Sri Lanka, not a small neighboring country, we keep that away, and other countries around the world, from Dubai, everywhere we have, from Saudi Arabia, from Lebanon, we have people in our this Women Power concept. I will share that small presentation maybe later. our format would be, there are a lot of people who want to question you. So I will keep my questions very limited. And I would request you also to give a quick and a brief
Sure.
response. Whenever it's required, you can go for a detailed one. And then we will ask questions because you're live on Facebook. There are a lot of questions coming on Facebook and YouTube, you're live, as well as we have people here from different parts of the world. Therefore, I will ask, basically my objective today is, I'm not today talking about politics. Of course, we can touch surely, not live without that because we are part and parcel affecting us every day. We are part of this great, proud country called India. You can see my two flags. This is India and Thailand. This is my Karma Bhumi and Janma Bhumi. 16 is Janma Bhumi. And I love Thailand. Thailand is a great culture. You will love to come there.
Yes, yes.
Shazia ji, you come from a middle class family.
Yes.
Father was well known for sure. How was your upbringing at that point of time as a child? I want to know about your child because I want to look at your journey of excellence. Because today when you are a firebrand, you're well known, you're a celebrity, and people call you lioness. But this little child, which was born in Kanpur, how did she get brought up? Quick response.
Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to thank you, and really your energy, your warmth, and the goodness of your heart. It cuts across the spectrum, right here, and I can feel it sitting here in India. And I'm sure all our participants who are in Nigeria, in Afghanistan, and South Africa all feel your power, your courage, and your conviction, Bakshi Saab. So thank you so much. I'm humbled to be here to talk to all of you. Yes, I've had a very humble, very modest upbringing. There were many brothers and sisters. My father was an upright person, a true nationalist. Though he studied in Deoband and he was a Maulana, but he said it's important for my children to study English and Hindi because that's what's going to get them ahead. And there was a lot of pressure for us to wear burqas, but he said, no, my daughters will not wear. And he took up cudgels against the whole community because I had to go to school in a rickshaw wearing a skirt, which was totally unheard of. So he says, no, Shazia will go to St. Mary's Convent, which was the best school at that point of time. And so I really owe him one. And it must have been difficult for him, but it was, yes, it's very difficult. For a young girl with dreams, because you see, as a young girl, brought up in a certain social ecosystem, you're not allowed to have dreams. Your dreams are limited. There's only this much you're allowed to think. The boundaries of your being, the boundaries of your ambitions are very limited. You are just happy if they allow you to study further. Agar aapne class 12th kar liya, it's a big deal. And because the whole idea is that men propose and women dispose.
Absolutely.
Men are served food first and women are the ones who serve them. So that is pretty much the culture of UP and amongst in the overall. So I'm a small town girl, really. And in that sense, and I have seen my mother's aunts be a certain way. And I just saw there was such a blatant difference in the way boys were treated, in the way they led their lives, the freedom they had to just think of whatever they wanted to. And I really would think, and my prayer was, Bakshi Saab, and I want to tell you and share it with everybody, this was my daily prayer. जो आप दुआ पढ़ते हैं, तो मेरी दुआ ये थी, Allah Ta'ala, God Almighty, Prabhu, Ishwar, God is known by so many names, but there's one God, as we all know. And I asked the Supreme Commander of our lives, I said, please do me a favor. As a kid, I told him, sitting like this at the age of 10, he says, you got to do me a favor. You please change my dreams. And if you can't change my dreams, then change my situation. Because the two don't match. तो या तो मेरे हालात बदल दीजिए आप या मेरे ख्वाब बदल दीजिए क्योंकि दोनों में कोई मैच नहीं है. They did not seem in tandem. I thought of very big things. I thought of I actually thought one day, and we were brought up in a very conservative way. It was very disciplined. If you did something wrong, anybody, your elder brother could hit you. So I used to think that I would become a super girl one day and I'll just fly and I'll beat up everybody who's hit me, all my older brothers who are bigger and smarter. So those were my dreams, those were my aspirations, but there was a lot of pain inside of me. So my journey has been a humble journey, and I never want to let go of that humility. I never want to let go of what I was as a child, helpless, um, humiliated by what the situation gave me, um, angry, and lost. So this is what I felt. I just wondered, how am I going to live my life? Why do I think so much? Why aren't things fair? Why can't I get the newspaper first to read instead of my brothers?
True.
Oh, small things,
Absolutely,
The-
absolutely. This is
yeah, it's like why
family.
should I be reading about women at home and Greh Shobha and Femina, and my brother should be reading about, the defense magazines and the latest, it was going on in the country and the newspapers. I would sit in the train and they would give out a paper each along with some snacks in Gomti and in Rajdhani. And they would give only the men the newspapers, and they would give some Hindi magazines or women's magazines to the girls and the ladies. And I would fight with him. I said, no, I want the paper. He said, which one? I said, I want all of them. I want Times of India. I want it. And he said, look at that, what a crazy child. And I said, no, I want it. So, I wanted to be heard. You see, it was one of those things. So that has been my journey.
So that is
And I'm trying to be heard at all times.
absolutely. But that means from the childhood itself, you had that kind of a thing. So did you have any designed roadmap for your excellence? Did you have any desired aspiration list or a roadmap or thinking how I move forward?
No,
You did.
no, I had no desired roadmaps. I had a acute sense of injustice. I just felt that there is so much of potential. Me, my cousin sisters, and all the girls who live in my area. Some of them are not allowed to go out, and women, of course, wear a burqa. And I was just very upset about that. I said, she's an equal. She has a brain. I have a brain. I have a heart. I have a soul. Atma has no gender. Why is my anatomy or my gender deciding my decisions, deciding what others decide for me? That was my question, and I was very angry about that. Why should uh, the fact that I'm a girl or a boy decide how I'm going to lead my life? How much will I study? How much will I go ahead? And these are very strong patriarchal values in where I grew up. So you
Absolutely.
see, it was very difficult to fight it at every level. So I was just, in that sense, a rebel. And there
Yeah.
was no roadmap, but I said, no, I'm going to speak about this 12-year-old, 13-year-old young Shazia who's lost, nobody wants to listen to because she talks too much or she has too many questions that nobody can answer. And I want to make sure that the world is a happier place for young girls like her and for many Shazias. And there's so
Absolutely.
many, right? So this
Absolutely.
was the only thing that was in my mind when I was young, somehow to be heard, for people to give us a better life, to have a better sense of equity.
But
And
how
that
did,
is my path. Got it was just something that kept coming to me.
oh,
I was also very spiritual. It kept on. I
oh,
went like a river. I flew like, I mean, I literally went like the river goes, the river flows. I was just flowing the river. And I think somewhere it was being brought to me. And I kept accepting. I didn't plan anything. I never thought I could ever get into politics. I never thought I would be a top anchor. I never thought I would have the guts to speak out in front of so many people. I was barely able to get my voice edgeways on the dining table where my brothers and sisters would sit and only the brothers would talk. And you
oh,
know how the cultures are.
I know.
So it's a marvel. And if I can do it, Bakshi sir, if I can do it, anybody and everybody can and must.
That is the message you are giving to women because this is why we are talking about women empowerment.
Yes,
No,
yes,
my sister could not go to the university because we were small town, Kashmir.
yeah,
We can't even think about daughters going to universities. You know,
yes,
that is where, and today you see our daughters, sons go around the world. That was a time. So looking at that, what kind of tough times you had during that period? How
yeah.
come you could get out of that with what kind of resilience and courage to face such situations? Were there some situations which were tough, which were difficult for you to manage, and you could come out, say, no, I need to go to UK, I need to go to US, I need to have this. What were those issues? How did you sort out That is what audience
There
is.
were too many issues. Just getting out of the house and going to school was so terrible, because there would be men looking at you, men of all ages, sitting in a rickshaw, sitting in a like tuk tuk as you call it,
Absolutely.
and yeah, and of course you and there would be I would wear a skirt, and I would be wearing long socks, but people just wanted to see, this girl. They were looking at my face, they were looking at my skirt. I would sit like this, scared like that, with my eyes down. So that itself was a painful way to grow up. And anything that you wanted to do, your folks would say, "How will you go?" There'll be, because there was so much of horrible kind of eve teasing, and that's a very light word, a euphemistic term for something very obnoxious, something
Absolutely.
that keeps women scared all the time. You see, so there were just so many issues. People attack you, say dirty, filthy things to you. There is so much of misogyny. Sometimes people hit you. You take a bus and people make you feel so lousy. You are just always trying to protect yourself as a young girl, and nobody speaks up. So there were so many times, I can tell you thousands of times, and I said, I'll always get angry. I'll never let this become normal for me. There'll never be a normal. It will never be considered the normal for me. My friends would say, "ऐसा तो होता है शाजिया, छोड़ो." I said, नहीं छोड़ सकते. We have to take it up. And I would go. If I'd learned to drive with great difficulty. I was not allowed to drive earlier, and guys would misbehave and drive and chase me. I would chase them and I would talk to them, and I said, "Why are you doing this? What kind of boys are you? Why are you doing this to me? What have I done to you that you have to harass me?" So every day I engaged with this, and I got exhausted. Sometimes I would fight for myself. Sometimes I'd fight for other girls. Sometimes I would be sitting peacefully and I'd see a girl, a younger girl, or maybe an older person getting ill treated. Somebody's touching her in a way that I don't like, and they're misbehaving with her. And she's like that, holding onto the bus,
Wow.
the stand, yeah, the rod, and she's just looking down. And I would tell the men, "Why aren't you speaking up?" And I would tell this guy, "Why are you doing this to her? Why are you doing this to her? You have a home. Do you want your sisters, cousins, friends, mom, aunts to go through this? Don't you have a heart? What is it within you?" So I did that all the time. You see, this is where I was different. People said, "Ignore, don't take pangas." I said, "No, I will go and I will ask questions. Why are you doing this? Why are you staring at me? I'm not something to be stared at. Please don't objectify me. I have a mind. I have a tongue. I have views. Listen to me. Listen to me. Hear
Beautiful.
me out." Yes. So ever since I was 12 or 13, I was like that. And you won't believe it, everybody quotes this story. And I was not even 12. And there was a Chanda Mehtab, an aunt of mine, and she was getting her daughter married, who was like a dear friend of mine, like a close cousin of sorts. And they were getting her married to a guy much older. She didn't know. And he was in Pakistan or somewhere. And this 14, 15-year-old girl was crying. And she didn't know who to go to. But I was his little sister. And she said, "Shazia, mujhe bacha lo. Shazia, help me." And I was a kid. I had no idea. But I used to see these ads coming on Doordarshan those days that, a girl has to be 18 and a boy has to be 21. So I called up the cops. Imagine being 12 and calling up the police station
I
and those
know.
black phones. And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "You need to come here." And he would not take me seriously. "How old are you?" I said, "Doesn't matter." "Which class are you in?" I said, "I'm in fifth or sixth or something." I said, "This is what's being done to my sister, my cousin, and she's being married off against her will. And you please come over and you arrest my aunt and my uncle and everybody." So in that sense, I really, what, the whole Gita Sar is what Arjun said. You do what you have to do.
Absolutely.
Karma is what. Do not think who's a relative. Aap
Wow.
karm karo, karm karo, karm karo, karm karo. This
Wow.
is the Gita Sar. And, I believed in that and it was just a natural thing that I had. I was a head girl of my school. I was to go and with my flag. And every time there was 15th August or 24th, 26th January, I would always be, they would play these patriotic songs. All the beautiful songs, Ye Mere Watan Ke Logo, Hum Hindustani, all those beautiful songs.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Bakshi sir, what used to happen to me, I would get tears in my eyes.
Oh.
And people would be like, what is that? Why is she like this? I was a head girl and I was hold a flag and I should do march past properly. One little girl, but I used to sit down and I used to think that something has to be done. Something. I'm a natural that way. This feeling that I have to care for my country, make
We,
it better. Yeah,
we
for
can
my
see that.
sisters.
We can see
Yeah.
that every day when we see you on that Vande Mataram and that
Yes, Vande
nationalism.
Mataram.
And in fact, what I am trying to talk to you is that even in today's date, even we talk about USA, we talk about Canada, even Western world, women still do not have that respectability. That's where we are talking about women power. And I want to give women power the greatest respect. That's why we have started this intervention.
Yes.
And in countries like Afghanistan, you just see what's going on. So she will, Farooq will talk about it. We have had opportunity of invited by First Lady of Afghanistan, and we trained top women leaders of Afghanistan. And you won't believe
Wow.
such powerful ladies, ministers, senators, directors, secretaries to the government. And each one lady has a success story. How difficult they managed everything with 8 children on an average and holding that position also. And we had wonderful time with Afghan people. They love me. I have a lot of following in Afghanistan and
Oh, wonderful.
in Laos, Cambodia, south of Thailand, because I do a lot of work for these women there. So what I'm ttrying to talk here is, Shazia ji, while
Ji, ji.
you have been from the childhood, I have to stop you to talk because you are like me. You keep on talking. I am also known as power of communication.
Oh,
Then
yes.
finally to the career, to the corporate world, to the television world, especially when you hit that prime time program called Desh Videsh. How was that journey for you? Did you get a feeling of being a woman and not getting full empowerment as compared to men? Because women face difficult challenges while working in a men-dominated corporate world. How was your journey? If there were challenges, how did you mitigate, overcome them, and then carried on, became the celebrity top anchor of the country? How was that? How did you become the women power?
Well, I don't know whether I just think it's important to realize why you're there in the first place. So for me, it was not for a career. I had to be a
Wow.
voice for the little girl, the
Yeah.
lost girl, the
Yes.
girl who was crying, the girl who didn't know, was not hurt, the girl who felt pain at the sense of injustice. So I always remember, no matter how old I am, no matter where I am, I have to speak for the little girl who could not speak for herself. One, I have to be the voice for many girls who are voiceless today.
Fantastic.
They are socially conditioned to be a certain way, to not speak up, and they're scared, and that fear is real because uh, that's a kind of fear, and it's valid because they're treated badly, they're not allowed access, there is violence against them. So I just always wanted to be that, which is why I became fearless, because it was not for me, it was not for a career, it was not to get a. So, and I felt all the biases that I felt in Kanpur, in a Muslim household, typically Sunni, where my mother wore a burqa, and of course I didn't, but there were pressures to always keep my head covered and be live a particular way, and not to wear certain clothes and not to have that kind of freedom. I must tell you that those big business houses had also biases. So those plush, swanky media houses in Delhi and Mumbai also were very biased. They would look at me, and I was a topper from Jamia Masscom, which is like the premier institute. And I was only 21 when I completed my master's, and I topped it. But they would not see that. They say, "Oh, you're a sweet girl," or they would give me a compliment, and they say, "Why don't you cover education or Bollywood or something like music?" And I said, no, I want to cover politics. I want to cover defense. I want to cover a strong heartbeat. Why don't you become an anchor? What will you do being a journalist? I said, no, I want to be a journalist. So I started anchoring much later. I wanted to be in the field.
Wow.
And then, of course, because women are so scared, essentially. So if there's and most bosses, in fact, all bosses were men when I was there. and oh, would you come out with me, and would you, why don't we go to foreign correspondence club, and we all are meeting here. I'd say, no, I can't, I really have to go back home. So you were kind of ousted. People thought you're not a you're not a yes person.
Oh,
And I said, yeah, and if you don't smile, and I smile readily and say yes sir, no sir, please sir, they don't like you. If you say, I know my job sir, I'll be able to do it, trust me, I'll do it, they don't want somebody like that. You see, they want to patronize you. So if you call their bluff and you say, you question them back, they don't like you. They want you to be this damsel in distress and seeking the help and smiling and being coy. So I said, I'm not going to be this coy girl. And I'm not a girl, I'm a brain here. I'm a talent here. I'm a colleague here. I bring to the table my journalism, my research,
the
my
capability.
my my capabilities. Exactly. I'll be a woman to let's say, I'll be a sister at home, I'll be a daughter at home, I'll be a wife to my husband, but this is not the space. This is, we are all equals. We are here for our work, and that I know something about. So why am I being looked at? Why is my face more important than what I have to say, than my capability? You see, so that became a big challenge. So I was always scared that I'll be shortchanged, and I was shortchanged. And they would say, oh, men would do the analysis and Shazia would just read the headlines. So there's this big joke, and I'll tell all of you, because we should use some humor. I remember I was in this very, very big network, and there were these two top analysts, very senior editors, was analyzing the election news. And they said, we'll keep tossing to Shazia, to the other studio, and Shazia would read the headlines, and then she'll toss back to the male anchors. So I did it for a while, for an hour or two. And then I wanted to participate in the election news, because I was a hardcore political buff, and, I really followed my news. And I said, I went to my senior, well, not my bosses, my senior colleagues. And I said, don't do all this with me. That Robert, Michael, and all of you do that. Or Lily, tum nahati raho. I'm sorry, I'm not the Lily. Make Ajay the Lily, make Siddharth the Lily. I'm going to be a Robert or a Michael here. You know, the Ajit ka joke. And they all laughed, because we're all colleagues and we're having fun. I said, I want to do analysis. I want to know what is happening with DMK and AIDMK. I want to know whether SP is winning or not. My heart is there. So, and then they all laughed, and there I was. So sometimes you have to use humor, and that's it. So anger doesn't work always. So I'm moving from that angry young girl and a scared young girl to an empowered girl. Passion, yes, but also compassion. Compassion is very important.
Women are driven by compassion, our mom, our mother. And Kiran Bedi says, women is quality. And I always believe women is quality, whether mother at home, or your partner, or your colleagues, or your daughter. They're all compassionate. Women, compassionate. But with you, when I see Shazia ji, you are not only compassionate, you are capable, and you are competent to challenge the status quo. Now tell me, we are talking about women empowerment. How are you looking at women empowerment, and especially to the audiences? Because there are a lot of stories people face every day. I'm talking from a domestic violence to corporate world,
Yes,
in
yes,
Bollywood, and everywhere. We see that happening every day.
yes.
What is women empowerment for you? A quick response, because I need to really go and share with you the concept of women empowerment and get people to question you. What
Yes,
is
so I think women empowerment is I think the ability, or the choice to be yourself, to
it?
make decisions, to make decisions for your life.
Absolutely.
Yes, not to be driven by your age or by gender, but by who you are.
Wow.
Something that comes from within your soul.
Fantastic.
Something that is a true calling, that you've been sent for. I think that is empowerment, because
Wow.
you're empowered not to just empower yourself, but empower others. Leadership, which is empowerment, is all about. True leadership is about creating more leaders, not to have more followers, to have more and more leaders.
Wow.
So that is true empowerment, you know,
You have won my heart. Because I am a leadership coach. That's what we teach every day. Leadership.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. That is what leadership. And many of the women who are there from different countries, they're all trainers, coaches. They keep on doing this. So women have to go, grow, and glow. And unless
Yes.
it grows and glows, this world cannot be beautiful. Because without women, we are nothing.
True. Very true.
Whether it's in the group of mother or your sister or daughter,
Yes.
colleagues, anywhere. What is that courage of conviction which you give to women to fight, and eliminate those roadblocks and become the fighter like you have done? What is that courage of conviction?
My courage of conviction came from the deep-seated pain that I felt and the sense of injustice that I saw around. And that convinced me that God does not want us to live this way. Just give me a minute. I'm just fixing my connection. Yes, sorry. That gave me the conviction that if God or Almighty or whoever we believe in, the higher force, did not want us to think, did not want us to dream, did not want us to aspire to higher places, why would we have a brain? It would be redundant. Why would just the anatomy decide our roles in life, our dreams in life, our aspirations in life, our ambitions in life, our successes and failures in life? So because we have a mind, because we have the ability, the cognitive ability, the ability to analyze, we have to do more. So I will not let just my anatomy decide if by fate. No, it's the soul within, it's the calling within, it's the anger within, it's the joy within, it's everything within you.
Beautiful.
That has to manifest itself, you know. That's my courage of conviction.
And in fact, what's happening last 2 days when I see a Kangana?
Yes.
Oh, what is your feel about Kangana? What do you want to say about her?
I have been talking about her. I mean, hats off to her. I salute that woman. I think all of us should do. I salute her.
I'm saluting. I am tweeting her again and again.
She is, look at a powerhouse. A girl, again from Himachal, you know, she's from the same place where I studied. And this girl from Himachal, a young girl, how she goes to Bollywood, makes a mark, takes on the biggest and the most influential powerhouses there. Absolutely. And speaks with honesty, speaks with courage, and is honest because she talks also about herself. Absolutely. And she shows the mirror to these people. Absolutely. And she's, you cannot break her conviction. You can break her house, but you might need thousands of bulldozers. Do not come in the way or actually prevent her courage and her words from ringing true and touching the heart of scores and scores of Indians out there who are saluting her, praying for her, and are actually wishing her the best that she could ever have and be in life.
Absolutely. And in fact, when her, this thing was, bulldozers came and she said, I now remember what must have happened to Kashmiri Pandits in Kashmir. And, she is going to be part of us. She's going to be making a movie on Kashmir. We are very excited to be with her.
Yes.
I wish Kangana Rawat all the best. Whatever she is doing, she is again a women power. And she's going to be on my show maybe in next 1 month or so. And we are going to be talking to her how this women power, this fire can create this thing. Now, I have a last question for you before I go to the audience. In the political process, you are today part of one of the greatest political parties of the world, rather.
That is a fact.
And you're working with a man who's a visionary, who's doing something which is brilliant, nobody has ever done in the world. Especially an Indian politician becoming a global player. Atmanirbhar, Make in India, you call anything what he is trying, and he works 14 to 16 hours per day. And he makes others also to work. He's not only working himself.
Yes.
Work.
True.
I have had an opportunity of meeting him at Sawadhi Modi in Bangkok when he came to Bangkok. And you know, we did not allow him to speak for near about 3 minutes when he talked about 370, because there was a standing ovation and clapping to Narendra Modi ji, and we had a one-to-one discussion as well. What a great man. Now, in
Great
such
man.
a great big party, and you as a leader, Bharatiya Janata Party leader, that to a women leader, what kind of women power and what kind of women empowerment your government, and I'm here now for India, your government is looking at in order to build up women power from India to be the best women power in the world. And how do you feel?
You know, I feel so proud of my leader. I feel so, and for me, he's just not a prime minister. He is this great statesman. He's a sannyasi man who's actually, he really is. He's really that person who's raised the consciousness of the nation.
True.
I see him as a great reformer.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, I see another Vivekanand ji in him, Swami Vivekanand ji in him, because he is the person who's talked about women empowerment way back. He's the only person who's cared about toilets, clean toilets for women. He's the only person who's actually talked about in such a brilliant way and out of the box way about Ujjwala scheme, where we people give up our LPGs and our mothers and sisters in marginalized areas actually do not suffer from so many issues and medical conditions because they can actually have a gas connection. He is the person who actually is the first man, you know, or a prime minister who from the ramparts of Red Fort has talked about that we never ask our boys what time they're coming home. Why did we ask our daughters? Shouldn't we ask the boys? He is the only prime minister who has gone to places in Haryana where there's an adverse sex ratio and spoken against female feticide and said, do not kill the girl child. So, and look at our defense minister, look at the ministers. Could you ever imagine just see how many wonderful women ministers we have and how powerful they are. Look at the Mahila Shakti. You see our office, you know, sir, but I want to ask all of you, if you ever get a chance when you're in India, come to BJP office, the headquarters, and you just see how women are there, but how respected they are in no other political office. And I can tell you that as a journalist, would they be respected as much and are treated so well as they are? I mean, really, 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 there is so much of respect and joy in working there. And you know, also because of the background, also because what they've been taught, because Matru Bhumi, Matra Shakti, and Matra Samman, and Mahila Ka Samman, it's ingrained, it's part of the DNA. So it shows, you see, it shows.
It is visible from your face. Shazia ji, I see. Varsha, can you put the PowerPoint ready?
Yes, sir.
Before we go to the question. I am looking at you, Shazia ji, that you will have a very great career into this entire concept of BJP. And you will be leading this women empowerment. And in fact, you should one day become the minister of women for the country to drive it. I am quickly sharing with you and the audience, what is this women power global movement?
Yes.
Women, I have worked on this for the last 1 year, and all these women around the world are part of it. Women is whopping wisdom of leadership traits. W. Whopping wisdom of leadership traits. O is opportunities to nurture talent for excellent planters. M is mastering the art of women empowerment. E is enlightening perseverance for women's social justice. N is nurturing women to be powerful, passionate nation builders. Without women, nation cannot be built up. Power. Power is partnering with other genders equally to promote excellence. Ownership of leadership attributes and behaviors to drive performance, willingness to shoulder equal and enhanced responsibilities and accountability, establish smart goals with commitment of actions for deliverability. R is regenerate the essence of women power with focus on project and financial management skills to excel in competition. That is women power, and the vision of women power is empowered women living a dignified and safe life with opportunities for growth and development and well-being. And the mission is promote holistic development of women through well-researched interventions for empowering women to become change enablers for community by supporting them to develop in their full potential. And we have the values C-A-R-E, care, courageous and compassion, authentic and agile, resilient and robust, empowered and equality. Shazia ji, are you there?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
What we have done is this women power concept has started from India, Afghanistan, Australia, Canada, Denmark, Fiji, France, Germany, Indonesia, Laos, next Lebanon, Lithuania, Nigeria, Singapore, South Africa, Spain, Thailand, Turkey, United Kingdom, USA, and UAE. Already you will meet some of the women, they will be talking to you now. So we have created these chapters around the world. And at this point of time, you can switch off the PowerPoint.
Just a minute.
Yeah. So at this point of time, our role is to be doing storytelling around the world for 2021. Only storytelling. Stories of Canada, stories of Durban, stories of different parts of the world. Dr. Kiran Bedi is our #1 women power. She has been promoting this. So I believe Mrs. Narayan Murthy, she is going to be part of us. Many women part of us. I need your commitment to be part of us in this moment. Are you committed to us?
Absolutely. I'm delighted and very honored to work with you and to work on this for this cause, because that's my calling. So it's not a coincidence that I'm here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have here, so we see amazing Shazia ji committing to be part of the Women Power, and we will certainly be making sure that she is available with us, whether in India or in Thailand or in Afghanistan. So there are people who would like to talk to you, Shazia ji.
Sure.
I'm getting them on. So I have people coming here. So Dr. Rani is the president of Women Club in Thailand. Dr. Rani, you can allow you to talk. Yes, go ahead. Dr. Rani.
Good evening, Shazia ji.
Good
It's
evening.
been a real
Rani
pleasure.
ji.
Rani, can you put your video
Real
on?
pleasure to hear you.
Rani,
And,
Dr.
you
Rani,
have-
can you put your video on?
Okay, where it is the video? I can't
Yes,
find it.
and we must share
just a-
pictures.
Yes.
Lakshmi, all these photographs you must share on Twitter also and Facebook later.
Okay.
Ask somebody to take a pictures.
Yes,
You
yes,
have really taken me down the memory lane. In the 1970s, when I came to Thailand as a doctor, I faced the same kind of problems because my father had also raised me up among all the, his relatives disagreeing for me to become a doctor, because all of the other girls would get married at the age of 17 or 18. So, for me, I faced the same kind of problems you have been talking about. But I must share with you that if you have a point which you have faith on, you can definitely lead a successful life, which I found coming to Thailand and leading and sharing with my other girls and my own children. My daughter is a very successful woman. My
Wow,
son is a very,
wonderful.
because I treated them equal. And I feel that if we as mothers and we as grandparents instill into our children the right points of life, like you have told, that you have listened to girls, voiced for them, that's the way to go.
Absolutely. I
And I would love
can't.
you to have come to Thailand and
Sure.
give us the pleasure. And you
Sure,
will love
Dr.
Thailand.
Rani, we will get her.
Yes,
I'll be
definitely.
there for sure. I love Thailand. It's so beautiful, and I've been there many times, and I'd love to come again. The minute this COVID thing scare goes down, I'll be there.
Yes. But the
I love-
COVID thing has done one thing good. It has brought the whole globe, the whole world
Together.
together. I love this, and this has, given us the opportunity to meet you now on the screen, but definitely to share the views with you. And Dr. Kiran Bedi has been my mentor, and I have
Oh,
really
she's
admired her.
amazing. Yeah.
And
I love her. She's like my big sister, you know. She looks after
same
me.
here. Same
She
here.
is so
Shazia ji,
nice.
Dr. Rani and myself, we have driven the Navjyoti Foundation globally,
Yes.
especially
Oh, really? Oh, I
Yes.
see. Oh,
she is,
Navjyoti has done brilliant work.
I am the mentor for
Yes.
Navjyoti and
I didn't
same
know
with
that.
Dr. Rani.
Dr.
Yeah,
Rani,
I
many
am. Yeah,
congratulations.
yes. Thank you. And here also, I'm a founder of a big foundation,
Yeah.
and I love to do this work.
Thank
And
you.
if God has given me this opportunity, I love to share with everybody.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rani. We have
Thank
Honey
you.
from Cape Town. Honey, can you unmute yourself and raise a question? Honey, are you
Yes,
there?
I'm here. Thank you
From
very
Cape
much.
Town, she is the chapter in charge of South Africa. Women Power. Honey, you can speak. Put your video on.
Thank you, DK. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. Shazia, it's been an absolute privilege to listen to your story and to hear your wisdom delivered in such a beautiful, gracious way. Thank you very much. I, as a Muslim woman living in Cape Town, South Africa, understand coming from a conservative family. I understand some of those challenges and the risk of always being labeled outspoken when we see injustice and call it out. What I do want to put to you as a question is, I feel that in many ways in South Africa, we have overcome some of those challenges because women have access to education. We have many challenges around schooling and language and poverty and huge disparity and social injustice. But on the question of gender and women empowerment, my big concern is around gender-based violence. South Africa, as you may know, is known as really one of the rape capitals of the world. And one of my big concerns is how we equip men to see women and engage them from a space of care and equality with regards to violence. And I ask this because I feel that often women cover up this level of degradation of women by encouraging women to be ashamed of being victims, or by encouraging women to be quiet and find another focus. And I think that this is, for me, the dilemma is how do we engage men in standing up for women and standing up against perpetrators of violence? Because it cannot be only women's responsibility to protect themselves.
Absolutely, and that's a very good question. I really feel that these conversations have to be done not just amongst ourselves in a women's conference, but out there as public discourse. They ought to be done. These discussions about the male-female dynamics and the inequity have to be done everywhere. They have to be done in the religious congregations. They have to be done in every gathering. They have to be done in boys' lockers rooms. They have to be done in the assembly session of the morning schools. They have to be done in schools and colleges and in all common areas and public spaces at all times, so that there is a taboo even about talking about these things. You see, and the women become the as you said, repositories of shame, and that's terrible. You know why I feel so sad about it is because I changed it. You see, I was an anchor, and we used to speak of women who were raped in a certain way. The language itself is very sexist. The way the way rapes and crimes against women are reported. So we said, let's shame the man instead of talking about the woman and where she comes from. Who is this man? Who are these men? What kind of families do they come from? Which schools or colleges did they go to? So let's move the focus from the women to the men. And yes, men need to talk to other men. Men need to talk to other men. Fathers need to talk to sons. Mothers also need to talk to sons. But it's very important for all of us, and even as women, to have that conversation with ourselves. That because of shame, because of public shame, will I feel or consider myself less than someone just because I have been brutalized or violated? No, we have to fight it together. There has to be a brotherhood and sisterhood together.
Beautiful.
fight this something evil that is rape. That is a blur on a soul, on a conscience. So we all have to work together for this.
Very great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shazia ji.
Nice to see
Echoing
you.
my own heart.
Thank you so much.
May I get, who's there? Sandra from Fiji. Sandra, are you there? She wanted to raise a question. Sandra? Oh, okay. In the meanwhile, we have Melanie from Spain. Melanie, go ahead. Melanie?
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello,
Melanie.
hello.
Hola.
Hola. Well, first of all, thank you for this inspiring conversation. It's been absolutely amazing. You are an absolute powerhouse. So cheers to you. And it came back to you, no, you are just, you have the best energy. I have to agree with Sasha. So I really wanted to thank you for inspiring us, for doing the work you do, because I know very well that being where you are located, it's much harder than what we have to fight against on a daily basis. You know, it's a completely different reality. And we often complain about how bad things are here. But when we listen to other stories, we're able to learn about other realities. And I think that gives us an extra push, because there's so much to do. Do you think that maybe starting conversations from women power, from different parts of the world, we can maybe make the change faster? Because we're all at different stages when it comes to women empowerment, absolutely different.
Yes, and I cannot agree more. I cannot, agree any more than what you have said with what you said, because we're at different levels, and it's almost as if we're at different levels of evolution where gender equity goes. We're talking about women who do not have the right to even take public transport and go and catch a bus to go to college, because she's not allowed to do so. We're talking about women who do not have a right to marry who they want to marry. We're talking about women, especially in Muslims, who are just thrown out of their houses because the husbands decided that they've had enough of them. There is an oral pronouncement of talaq, which is divorce, and they're told to get out, get the hell out. And they don't know where to go. We're talking about battered women. We're talking about women who really feel scared to speak for themselves. And I have worked with some of them, and I cannot tell you how depressing it can be. So, but I learned one thing. I was working a lot with anger and pain. There was a lot of pain inside of me because I saw, and I cannot tell you the stories I've heard. I'll tell you a story. I know you like to hear this. I was campaigning for one of in the elections, and I went to a Muslim household. And it was a typical patriarchal household where the patriarch of the family stood there, and the sons and the grandsons were around, and the women could not be seen. You see, we couldn't see where the women were. And he says, "How dare you come? Your job is not to ask for votes. Your job is to sit at home. Your job is to raise your children." So he treated me very badly, and I had tears of anger in my eyes, and I left. But you know what happened? And my team also just kind of moved ahead. After this incident, we were walking out. I was feeling very sad, and my elder brother and my friends were trying to, and all the youngsters around me were saying, "Don't feel bad, Shazia, it's okay." But I was very upset. I was visibly upset. You see, a little girl came running towards me, and I just looked back. She was a small little girl whose name was Salma or something like that, and she says, "Assalamu alaikum," and I said, "Wa alaikum assalam." She says, "Don't feel bad." She called me like an aunt, is Khala. "Don't feel bad, Khala." Because she's a little small girl, she called me an aunt. And I said, "Yeah, what happened?" She says, "Don't feel bad because my granddad is like that, but my mother is requesting you and she can't come out. And she's saying, Shazia, keep fighting. Fight for us. Please get at least public transport close for us so we can go to school and we can go to college."
Fantastic.
I feel so emotional when I say this.
Fantastic. Thank you so
Can you
much.
imagine? I look at that and I feel so sad. So we have to do this.
You know, our Milani is the chapter in charge for Spain, Women Power Global Movement. And she is, again, a very amazing human being. She does a lot of good work. I can see Yon. Yon is right now in Lisbon. Yon, you want to say something? She is a Women Power for US. Yon, can you unmute yourself? Yeah. Yon, go ahead. Are you there? Okay.
Did that work?
Yeah, go ahead, Johan.
Super. Thanks again for the very inspiring conversation, and thank you, DK, for the invitation and this global movement. It's just amazing. At the end of the day, I feel that the problem is the same worldwide. It's just in different stages. And sometimes it's just hidden because I was brought up in Canada. So being brought up, I had a family that I did not feel any difference between boys and girls. I was totally empowered to be myself by my parents and so on and so forth. But then when I started working for corporation, and mainly different type of corporations, global corporations, even US corporations, I was always told, well, first of all, there was always a salary difference. And there was always a problem with if you say something that did not go along with what men wanted to do, you were sort of put aside and sort of did not have much. If you did not go along with what they wanted to do, you did not have any opportunity for advancement, really. And that could come, you know, from other women that they would speak and you know, they would tell me, oh, you have to do this and you have to do that and you have to please them. And I said, no, I want to be myself, and I want to make a difference in the way I want to do, and I will speak up and say what I need to say. And so it is very prevalent in North America as well, but mainly in a workplace. I think in the families we feel more. We don't have any problem taking common transportation, or we're very free as girls to achieve, and very free to go to college and so on and so forth. But it's after, when you start working.
Thank you, Jan. Jan, you have always been a great supporter. Even from North America, moving to Lisbon for temporarily, she is still supporting our women power. And she has had a fantastic and fascinating journey of being a women power. I have Unichizada Farooq from Afghanistan. Farooq, you can unmute yourself, ask your question. She is the chapter in charge for Afghanistan. As I said, Afghanistan, I do a lot of work, and she is part of our Afghanistan. Thanks, Jan. Are you
Hello,
there?
good evening.
Yes,
Good
Farooq.
evening.
Salam alaikum.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Hello, good evening, everybody.
Good evening. Salam alaikum.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Really happy to see Shazia and the event. Welcome, Shazia. Thank you very much
you so much.
to attend this important event. Really happy, and thank you, Mr. Diki, to invite such a strong woman across the world and to share their strong views and stories with other women across the world. And I really happy to attend in such kind of important events. So I know that Mr. Diki, one of them, he supports Afghan women, and also he invited us to share our stories, our problems and challenges in this, that all the women across the world hear what you're saying and what's our challenge. As you know, that Afghan women problem and challenges or multiple and challenges stem from the entrenched male-dominated Afghan society. You know that the women, Afghan women, face to numerous social and political, economic and cultural challenges at various fronts. This might be more evidence in the rural areas, but also exists at the urban area, including the capital of Afghanistan, Kabul. Some of the main problems and challenges in Afghanistan that the women of Afghans face are as following: that it's economic dependence on men, also patriarchy, access to education, access to health, gender balance, also access to justice, underage marriage, forced marriage, also lack of job opportunity, most high challenges that Afghan women face for that.
Farooq, we have to be shorter. Farooq, we have to be shorter because
domestic violence. Yes, yes. I listed some problems that we face in this challenges in Afghanistan. So I'm really happy that to get acquainted with such kind of strong women like Ms. Shazia, and I hope that you can support us, and we need some supporters out of the countries to invite leadership trainings. We want to improve our leadership skills. So you know that there is many strong women in Afghanistan. Just we need for supporters outside of Afghanistan. So I'm really happy to see you.
Very great. Any question you have?
I hope that in the future you can contact with me and invite me in some in such kind of leadership programs. Wow. And also I kindly ask Mr. Dicky to invite you and to take you in Afghanistan, to come here in Afghanistan. We can see each other from the close. Yes, go ahead, please, Mr. Dicky. Sorry to take your more time.
But Farooq, ma'am, I'm so
go ahead, Mr. Dicky.
You are. I can imagine how difficult it must be. And I can only pray for you and wish that there are many, many, many leaders like you. And every day is difficult, but every day brings us closer to our independence.
Farooq is women rights leader in Afghanistan. She's at a place called Mazar-e-Sharif. Last time we were at Mazar-e-Sharif for 6 days, training on the leadership with these women. And Farooq has invited you to Afghanistan. And next program of United Nations,
Inshallah,
I would request you to be part of us to go to Kabul and Mazar-e-Sharif. Sure, Farooq, don't worry. And I have from Malaysia, Jennifer, you have any question? The women power of Malaysia. Jennifer, are you there?
Hi.
Any question or any thought? Jennifer is the Malaysian chapter head of, Malaysian chapter of women power.
Hey, good evening. Hi, Shazia.
Good evening.
Yeah, okay, I'm very happy to be here. So many things that I learned today. Then I just have 2 questions. I hope it's relevant to you, Shazia.
Yes.
Okay, looking at your profile, you are very passionate about what you're doing, and it's very inspiring. And I'm very impressed because you have done a lot of things especially for a woman. Okay. Then so my question is, how do you manage to have a great balance between importance, daily tasks, and with your family? Okay, and then my second question, okay, and if we can do some empowerments for women and girls or young teenagers, maybe we can, how we can close the gap between women and men. maybe we can like how do you call it, discuss something like empowerments between men and women. Sometimes because sometimes I feel that some men also need a words of encouragement to be as empowered as women too.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, some men need it. So in this whole, this is what I want to say, and this is not a war between the sexes. It's not a battle between men and women.
Mhm.
And because very often women also are a repository of patriarchal beliefs.
Yes.
And there are men, and we have one right now, Mr. Bakshi, who works day and night for women's freedom, independence,
Mhm.
for better lives. So let's not make it about men and women.
Yeah.
It's about fighting patriarchy. It's
Yeah.
about fighting domestic violence. It's
Mhm.
about fighting the inequity, fighting the inequality, fighting for better access, fighting for better rights and equal rights. So it's not against men at all. So this is something very important that I want to say, because I know so many wonderful men
Yeah.
who have done much more for women's causes than maybe many women leaders have. So
Yeah.
full marks to them. I mentioned Narendra Modi. We have one more person in India called Nitish Kumar. He's a CM right now of Bihar. He really works very steadfastly for women's happiness and betterment. So
Mhm.
it's not about men and women. That's one. And first thing that you asked about balancing home and family, like Mahatma Gandhi said, let your life be your message. So you live your life a certain way, and when you're living it a certain way, it's all organic. Work, family, home, it's all together. It's
Yeah.
seamless. It's seamless.
Yeah.
So it's like that. There is no difference. You are my sister. Like from far away, like another sister who's my own sister.
Mhm.
It's like the whole family gets connected because there is something very deep that's binding us together.
True.
Yeah.
And we must see that. We must see that.
Mhm.
So my family, your family, it beyond a point. It doesn't matter. You become a person that who belongs to everybody. Yes,
Absolutely.
you have your own responsibilities. You do them, but your life is your message. You're
Yeah.
living your life every day like the message. It's like that, like what you want to tell everybody. So how you'll be in your family life, how you'll be in your work life, how you'll be with your staff will all be the same, because there will be a message of oneness, equality, love, and compassion.
Right.
They'll always be there.
Very
So they won't. Yes.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Manorma Bakshi, you had a question. Manorma, she does a lot of work for women power. Manorma, are you there? I see that we have from Durban, where's Durban lady? Durban lady is there. Vani had a question. Vani, are you there? Vani? We have a lady from Chicago. Akansha, you have a question?
Hello, good evening to all of you. Thank you so much for organizing this, and I'm really, really excited and happy to be a part of today's webinar. I have one question, or I would also like to call like a suggestion, because you are at such a powerful figure, and you have done so much in your life, Shazia ma'am. So I really wanted to ask you that is it possible that how the government provides law and physical health to every single individual, if they can afford it or not. So I wanted to also talk about mental health, because I believe a lot in mental health, and I want to talk about the rape victims, and someone had discussed that in between, that can we provide that to every single individual, especially women, because there are so many times when women can't speak up. So because you can do a lot of things. I've seen you
Sure.
with Arnab Goswami as well, and you are a huge inspiration obviously to the entire nation. So are there reforms that that maybe you can propagate and bring to
So
the notice?
yes, I think overall as a society, we must learn not to stigmatize mental health. That's one thing. And I want to tell you, we talked about rape particularly, and all the work that I've done with rape survivors, and let's not call them rape victims because they've survived the rape. You know,
Absolutely.
so the rape survivors, they go through a very tough time, and a lot of counseling, and there are trauma centers where they can get some counseling done. the issue is not just the lack of counseling or good counseling, but also the lack of overall societal help and integration. Very often, the rape victims, rape survivors, are not able to go back to their own homes because it's known that they have been. So I think overall there has to be a change of consciousness. No amount of laws can change, people's way of thinking and looking at life and its equations. I think there has to be a wave of new consciousness in men and women, because you can't have a policeman after every man, you see. But the man himself, you know what I mean? So we have some fantastic laws, but how much will you get those laws implemented? How much of law enforcement can you follow up? How much will you run after the judicial magistrates to get something like that done? So I think we need something bigger. And just a change of law. I mean, when I was part of the Anna Hazare movement, I thought getting a law would change things. But I've evolved, and I think it's not the only thing. The way we think, the way we look at things, the way our consciousness is, we have to change that level. And only when you change that level can we go somewhere. And some of our great saints have done that kind of work, you see. That kind of the reformist the streak. So we have to make it a movement. We have to talk about it in our temples, in a mosque. When a Maulvi said that a khutbah, he must speak about these things. When there's a pravachan going on, people should talk about that. So that is when the consciousness happens. When a mother is sitting and serving food along with her family and her husband and children are there, these conversations must be there. That what rape does to a woman's soul.
Exactly.
And how she is not to be victimized. She is not to be further brutalized. She has to be loved and taken care of more. And it is the men who also need to be named and shamed, and also made the examples must be made in society so that others don't do what they have done.
Absolutely.
It's the other way around.
I really agree with your thought, and what you have said about the consciousness. I really, really believe in it, that, we all need to talk about it. I also wanted to propagate that, if it comes in the educational policy, and it becomes more open for everyone to talk about it.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much, Akansha. So we have.
Thank you so much once again, ma'am.
Karan Singh wanted to raise some question. Karan, the president of BJP Overseas Association, Thailand. Are you there? I see from Australia, Ash Rana wanted to raise some question. Ash, are you there? Ash, you can unmute yourself. Ash wanted some question. Ash, are you there? Who else is there who wanted to ask a question? I see Raja Lakshmi wanted a question from Siva Sivani, Hyderabad. Raja Lakshmi. Are you there, Raja Lakshmi? Can you unmute yourself?
Sir.
Yes, please. Ask the question to Shazia ma'am.
Yeah. In fact, I have typed my question also.
Yes,
I see.
read that.
Yeah, please.
You can say, or I can read it out.
Yes. Yeah. Good evening, ma'am. It was a really very nice session.
Thank you, Raja.
One request, I have been thinking about this for a long time. And I felt that if anything has to do, it is only the BJP government which can do this one. So I felt that there should be some stringent law against the rapists, right? Because what happens, we all know that rapists will be left free, and it takes a lot of time for the verdict, precisely, if at all there is any case against them. Otherwise, they'll be left free, and these things will go on and on. So we have to put a full stop somewhere. They should be having a fear of doing something. So that's the reason I always feel that there should be some stringent measures, stringent law against the rapist. And I have mentioned that in Hyderabad last year, December, our commissioner, he did that encounter, right? So, I mean, that initially he was questioned why he did that and all, but later on everyone started appreciating that this is how things have to be done, right? So it's not that everyone will do that. So somewhere there should be a stringent law. I think it is only BJP government, and since you are there, right, talking about the women empowerment and all, I think it is.
Yes. You see, look at You know, I was part of the Nirbhaya Andolan.
Yeah,
And in
yeah.
fact, I was right there, and every day we were on the streets getting beaten up, and the tear gas shells were there when that young girl was so brutally raped and
Exactly.
killed. So I was there, and you know, so there has been a change of laws. Laws have changed and they become very stringent. But by the time the entire sentence takes place, as we know
Exactly.
in Nirbhaya's case, I'm in touch with her mother on a regular basis. It takes very long, the whole
Exactly.
process. So that it has to be fast tracked, one.
That's why.
And there have to be, yeah, because by the time it reaches its logical conclusion,
Exactly.
many years pass. So I think we have to do something not just about making stringent laws, but also making sure that the law enforcement works better
Exactly.
and the judicial processes take less of a time, because there was such a back and forth that went on, which really made us lose our patience and a
Yes.
sense of cool. So I do agree with you.
Yes, madam.
Very
Thank
great.
you very much.
Thank you,
sir.
Dr. Professor Raja Lakshmi from Hyderabad. I see Ananditya.
Thank you, sir.
Sinha. You have any question, ma'am?
And Mr. Bakshi, I have only 5 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. Hi,
Because
Shazia.
Seven have to go. Hi, how are you?
I always feel, more empowered. Whatever level I am, it goes hearing to people like you. And in fact, I'm also joined Mr. Sajanar in his endeavor to bring education and safety education and empowerment for women. And today we launched one app also. So just tell me, just to understand that how far we have to go, where we are in a scale of 1 to 10, where is India in women's safety? First question. Second question is, if we, because it's not very easy to really, no matter the revolution we take it forward, it's not so easy. So education, safety, which is the most important you think aspect you think we should start from for women empowerment?
I think, safety is both safety and education. They're not mutually exclusive of each other. If you see all of women's issues, you'll realize that they all are interconnected, starting from, the patriarchal bias and the bias for a male child, female feticide. So before even a girl is born, her fate is decided, that she's not fit enough to be born because, you know something, she's a female fetus and not a male fetus. Then by the time she grows older, that dowry has to be given for her marriage and not for the man, because he will bring a girl who will bring dowry. So and then about safety, because if she steps out, people can misbehave with her, and she is open and she's more vulnerable than a man. So at every level there are so many vulnerabilities. So nothing is exclusive of each other. They all are interconnected. For that to happen, I feel, right, starting from every unit of conditioning, parents, school, colleges, like we keep coming back to the government. Government can only do this much.
Absolutely.
At homes, homes, you and me, I make sure that the lady who's my cook, who comes for 4-5 hours in a day, I ask about how she's doing, how daughters are, what's going on in their lives, what can I do to make their lives better. There has to be, all of us have to be activists at all times. We could be doctors, teachers, housewives, but for this we have to work 24/7. We could be men, we could, yes.
Fascinating.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
I don't know. I don't have much time now. I can see in Narula there. You want to do a quick vote of thanks, or Rajan Datta, any one of you? In Narula, can you unmute yourself? In Narula. Achan in.
Yes. Before I go on,
quick vote of
yes,
thanks. Question.
Yes. Forget the question. I like to thank Shasha for her very good words. It's a great reminder to us men that we are equally responsible to make sure that we respect the gender of our mothers. And that's very important. Absolutely. And I really like your talk that it's not only you or Dr. Bakshi who is responsible. Every one of us in the country, we are all responsible. My biggest joy would be to invite you to Thailand, and then we can take you forward and promote equality and respect for the gender of the mother, because mother is everything.
Absolutely.
So please,
Beautiful.
you're always welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you.
Kapur Khap is Shazia. Kapur Khap is thank you very much. And we
Kapur Khap to all.
Yes.
In fact, I want to immediately close. Shazia ji, I don't know what to tell you, but I can salute you and give my hand-folded respects to you for your sharing the thought process. You could see people from the global world. Sonal Verma could not, our chapter in charge, India could not join on Zoom. She is on Facebook. And Usha Bakshi is on Facebook. So they are all wanting to hear you. I can tell you the way you could articulate your, questions, the way you could talk about your journey, the way you could inspire others to become women of excellence, to become women of substance, to become women of elegance. And above all, the loyalness of India. From today onwards on Twitter is loyalness of India. Shazia Ilmi, loyalness of India.
Thank you.
Thank
you so much. I enjoyed being with all of you, and I feel your love and I feel your conviction, and I feel we all have to do a lot together in a united way with a lot of love and compassion in our hearts. And I salute the spirit in each one of you for being here, for thinking about these issues, for caring for the other, for actually wanting to make life better for someone else who does not have our kind of resources, our kind of access. So keep working. This is work in progress 24/7. We have to be together in this. Thank you so much, and may God bless you all. Jai Hind.
This is one world, one love, one family, one woman, mother, a sister, a partner, a colleague, a daughter, and this woman takes control of everything. And before we separated, I want to thank everybody who joined. Let's together say, Bharat Mata Ki
Jai.
Bharat Mata Ki
Bharat Mata Ki
Jai.
Vande
Mataram.
Vande
Mataram.
Vande
Mataram.
Narendra Modi Ki
Jai.
Absolutely.
Zindabad.
Narendra Modi Zindabad. Shazia ji, you have to be part of Women Power Global Movement, and you are there, you're committed. Have you committed?
Thank you so much.
Have you committed to be part of us, Women Power? I need your commitment. I need your commitment to
I
be
can't hear you anymore.
I need your commitment to be part of Women Power.
Pardon me?
I need your commitment to be part of Women Power.
Yes, absolutely. You have 100% commitment from me, and I would love, because this is what I love to do. So I'm happy to take out time and make my plans and work with all of you.
To Kabul, I will take you to Thailand, at least 3 countries to start with.
Please do. Please do. I would love to.
After COVID.
Done. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Khuda Hafiz.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Khuda Hafiz to all of you. Lots of love.
Bye-bye. God bless all. Bye-bye. Thank you.
God bless all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Sawadee kapom.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes.